Absolutely. Up until now, we've seen technology or digital as this separate part of our lives. And it's like electricity and gas now. It's everywhere. And we should stop thinking about it as this separate function or this separate part of our business, because ultimately our consumers, our customers, they don't see it as separate. So we as businesses need to start creating this flow through our organization. I call digital a river, and you've got to tap into the power of the river and keep it flowing through your organization. The generation that are being born today, Gen Alpha, they will start coming through our businesses in the next few years. This is a generation that have been born with smartphones in their hand, not just phones, but smartphones. These are incredibly powerful devices. They are used to video calling, not making phone calls. Phone calls to them are something historic and archaic. Now we're in a world where the technology has moved from being in a room or in our house or in our office to in our pockets. Anywhere we are, we can access anything we want and in real time. We've had some amazing innovation here in Australia from retail banking. In fact, we've had some world firsts here. The banks here in Australia launched the cardless cash system, where you could use your phone without having your ATM card to get cash out of an ATM. That came from an innovation hub here in Australia. Beyond that, within the retail space globally, Apple have shown how retail experiences now are evolving and what the future of retail looks like. When Apple first came up with the concept of creating a physical store, people laughed it off and said, that's ridiculous, we don't need more computer shops, why would you do that? The reality is they flipped that on its head. You go into an Apple store today and you buy a device, you don't queue at a checkout, there's not long lines waiting to pay for things. You get out a device out of your pocket, you scan your item you want to purchase, and then you simply walk out of the store. Frictionless transactions, these are where we're seeing retail, for example, innovating strongly. Online retail stores such as eBay have shown that people actually want those online experiences. They're now demanding them. Amazon are coming on later on this year in Australia as well. They're going to create a massive amount of disruption for the duopoly of Coles and Woolworths here. And also electronics are going to be challenged in this space with the online advent of Amazon when they come on the back end of this year as well. Businesses have to remain competitive. They've also got to make sure that they're not just providing one channel for their customers to come through. You've got to provide every experience possibility, and you've got to use technology to harness that. The reality is now as well, it's cheaper than ever to do this. Technology isn't expensive or luxurious anymore. And this is where we're seeing true innovation come from. Startups and entrepreneurs, they're harnessing the power of liquid technology, this cheap technology that's now accessible to us all. They're able to connect to a world of people, and this is largely done through platforms like social media. You can connect to anyone you want today through platforms like LinkedIn. A few years ago, if I wanted to connect to the CEO of a motors company in the US, I'd have to find somebody to do that for me. Today, with technology, you can connect to whoever you want and wherever you want. This is now where true entrepreneurialism comes from. And here's the thing that's really interesting. Don't fear disruption coming from big world business, from big corporations. Fear the hoodie. It is the hoodie, the person in the hoodie who's an 18-year-old in their bedroom, a boy or a girl at 3 o'clock in the morning. They are the disruptors. Anybody can be a manufacturer now, and then the reality is with the access to networks that we've got around the world, you can really be competitive when making products. Australia's future for me isn't about being a manufacturing hub for the world. It's about truly innovating around technology. The future of Australia is dependent on so many different things going ahead. We've got to evolve as a country, we've got to adapt, and I think we've got to change our thinking as well if we want to be relevant. We can't just hope to keep things as they were. We've had a great manufacturing era in this country over the last few decades, and we've now got to shift that into thinking something new. Artificial intelligence, AI, is going to help us enormously in this space. Robotics technology is also going to help us to do things better, quicker, and faster than we've ever done before in history, and this is our new future. Absolutely. This we're doing now, this face-to-face, will always happen, regardless of how much technology we have. I speak at conferences around the world all year long, and I remember a few years ago people saying, well, now that you can video you in, don't you fear that people will just want to live stream you into conferences instead of you physically going there? That's not shifted at all, because people want this. They want that human-to-human connection. We do emotions as human. Technology can't do emotions. We are a long way off from technology being able to act like a true human being, and we're some 40 or 50 years away from that. Technology isn't meant to replace us. It's meant to help us do things better. So in the financial services sector, we've seen banks here in Australia using artificial intelligence platforms to help their advisors be able to give better advice. They're not there to replace them. They're there to help them give better advice, quicker advice, but this face-to-face will always happen. We like that interaction. Autonomous vehicles, autonomous driving is a massive topic at the moment. Legislation is quickly being adapted at the moment here in Australia and globally to be able to account for this era of driverless that we're going in. I launched a driverless bus in Perth last year, so that's already on the roads. That stuff's already here. We've now got to think faster ahead what the next things are. Hyperloop is going to be a big technology. Elon Musk's Hyperloop is going to be big over the next couple of years. Dubai's already announced they're going to be doing. We will see that in Australia as well. From a technology perspective, artificial intelligence is going to be massive over the next few years. We're seeing lots of investment in this space. The other one for businesses in retail is going to be things like augmented reality. Pokemon Go last year went bananas around the world. What this showed us was we now want to blend our physical world and our digital world together. Driverless, the driverless era is part of a much bigger thing. We've gone away from wanting to own stuff anymore, right? So the Gen X's, my parents' generation, perhaps your generation, have had a house where they've filled it with stuff, DVDs, CDs, they've had a car, they've had all this stuff around them. But we've now gone into a world of experiences where the generation today want to listen to Spotify when they want music. They don't want to buy the album, they want to listen to the music. When they want to watch their show, they want to have it on demand when they want, so it might be on Netflix or any of the other streaming services as well. And in cars, we're seeing exactly the same thing happen. Uber have now made it so that we don't have to own a car. We can summon one and it'll rock up within 3 minutes. You combine that with driverless technology, the future then now is us being able to have a car in any country that we live in, and we simply summon it and it turns up within 3 minutes. We're moving away from owning stuff to having things on demand and experiences, and this is what people want.